Okay, we're gonna start our zoning board meeting. If everyone could silence their phones and stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Roll call.
I'm here.
Judy,
Yes, I'm here. Yeah.
Bruce,
Yes.
Joe,
Here.
Chris, and Bob.
Yes.
Helene and Larry are not here. All right. I get a motion to move the minutes to the end of the meeting?
I make a motion to move the minutes to the end of the meeting.
I'll second it.
Judy second it. On vote?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Okay. T&T, you're up. We're gonna talk about your, you're looking for a height variance for a fence. You could sit up here. Just pull the chair up.
State your name for the record. Just state your name for the record. State your name for the record, please.
My name or the company name? My
Both.
name is Eric Tapia and the company is TAT.
Okay, thank you. All right. So Eddie, I did go out and looked at this. I also did, speak with the code enforcement officer. Or not the code enforcement officer, actually I did speak with the code enforcement officer, but also with the town highway superintendent. So based on your map, you're looking to do a height variance. And where you got it proposed is also part of the town right of way. Okay, and if I'm looking at this car to scale, okay, the fence is gonna protrude to almost the front of the car when you come to the road. So you're decreasing your sight distance.
Okay.
No, going to the right. I also know you did bring in fill, which also raises the elevation, so you're gonna, block yourself in and not have any sight distance, which we can allow. And you also have the fence in the town right away. I did talk to Bobby, you got a column for the mailboxes. Columns aren't allowed. He hasn't really enforced it because there's a couple other houses that do have columns, but it really shouldn't be a column there. So I don't know how you're gonna address the height from that you increase in the right of way with putting that fence up. That 4-foot fence is really gonna be, because of the amount of fill that you brought in there, is really gonna be, even at 4 foot, you're probably, gonna be 4 feet above the height of your car.
I don't understand about you said when you're driving my car.
Yeah, so.
The post.
So based on your map, okay, so,
Yeah.
so this is the town right away. Okay,
Mhm.
so this fence can't be in that right away. And you drew the scale, this car. So from the mailbox to here, okay, is already elevated because you brought fill in.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're gonna create a blind spot. So you're not gonna be able to see any cars coming from this direction.
It's really, yeah, I can see all car because that's just very straight.
Over here,
Yeah,
Yeah, you-
definitely 100%. When you make a left, when you coming this way, that's just impossible.
yeah,
But this way, it's not problem.
yeah, because you're looking from this way.
No, I'm for this way.
Right. If you want to go to the right,
Exactly.
okay, you could see cars to the left. But what if you want to go left?
When?
If you come out of your driveway,
Yeah.
you want to go left, and with that,
I have 6 feet the street between where you're supposed to put the fence, because I had to put on the back, you see that little post, that concrete post?
Right, but
It does the concrete post.
right,
So
but
I have
you see this?
more than 6 feet.
Right, but you see this line right here?
Yeah,
That's the town right away.
okay.
And you're putting the fence in the town right away.
Oh,
So you're blocking, now, you know, you already built this up. So if you put a fence in this right of way and you wanna go 6 foot up and you've already raised that ground significantly, you know, that fence is gonna be sticking up like 8 feet up in the air.
Can I add something, Chris?
Yes.
So I drove by there today as well. And right now, when you pull up to where that car is on the drawing, there's no fence there. So you can look up through there
Yeah.
because there's no fence. But like
Anyway,
he
if
said,
you put
once
the
that,
fence, that is very simple, because I have big space.
right, but the fence is gonna block, you're not gonna
Not
be able
blocking
to,
my, no.
you're not gonna be able to look on the
Yeah,
right
because
side.
I think the
The
last
mailbox column, when you're pulling up, you're looking to the right of the mailbox column. Well, you won't be able to anymore. You gotta get past the
You know,
mailbox
because
column now.
I think before, when you started to the fences high, I think that one, because post is high, but that's, I don't have any problem when you turn and make a left, I see that any car, I have a spot, a big spot. So when you turn and make a left, that's more impossible, right, in this corner.
Well, yeah, so this lot right here, the lot next to you,
Uh-huh,
was denied a driveway permit because they have no sight distance.
Yeah.
By you doing this, you are taking your sight distance going this way out of the equation. You won't have any sight distance.
okay.
And,
Oh.
and this part of the fence is in the town right away, which, you know, I talked to the, highway superintendent and he says it can't be in the town right
So
away.
what happened if it started, up to here?
Well, you would have to keep it out of the right of way.
Yeah.
The mailbox column would probably have to be moved too then.
Bobby hasn't pushed
I'm
it, but-
spoken to the highway department.
Yeah.
I'm spoken to the highway department. He says no problem.
For
That's
now.
why I put the company.
But if
Right,
But if the highway had to expand and you have a post there,
Yeah, yeah.
right, it's so easy to pull the post out and be done with it, so that's why they're not worried about it so much, because you'd have to move it at that time. It's not a house or structure or berm or whatever these other structures that get put in there. So a post is an easy item to do.
Because, you know, I don't remember when the guys, he put a new blacktop all on this street, with a new blacktop, and the highway department all the time is there, and then I'm spoken to him, hey, listen, I have to put a power right here. He said, oh, no, it's no problem, because if you come in this way, the street is straight, so you don't have any problem. If you put something make a left, you have a problem.
But a post with a mailbox is not as obstructive as a fence for vision, right? You can see around your mailbox, and then on a technical aspect, that's the town has a right of way there, and you're not supposed to have any objects in there. They're just kind of like, we're not using it right now, so for the moment, it's okay.
So it was Bob Wager that you spoke with that allowed that, or was it someone
I don't
else?
remember who's that, but supposedly that's the boss, I don't know the name.
Yeah, Bobby Wager's is the highway superintendent, and that's who I spoke to. He did know, like I said, he did mention that there are other columns. He hasn't enforced it, but he doesn't want to see any columns. And one of the big reasons is the wing plow, come winter. If a pole breaks, it's easy to repair, but if you have a column there and he hits that with the wing, you know, you could do damage to the truck, or someone could get hurt. So, because, you know, I'm assuming you're gonna do concrete or rock, you know, so, you know, that's one of the reasons why he doesn't want the column there, and he doesn't want the fence in the town right away. And like I said, I know you brought in all that fill, So this elevation is not flat anymore.
Yeah.
Because if you go on the maps, you could see the original elevation was ground level, and there was an old fence there. And that's probably where your surveyor came with this old fence. But now you added all that fill. So now, there's a huge height difference between here and the elevation that used to be. So when you put that fence on, we're not looking at a fence, from flat level, you're already way up in the air. So you're just gonna block your sight distance. So you have to be able to see the sight distance in both directions. And with the fence coming into the town right away, you're never gonna be able to see that.
Alright, so if he started put the fence right, in the corner right here,
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to, one of the things I would like to know, and I'm sure the board would like to know, is the height difference, the topo from ground to what you brought in with fill.
Like from road level.
Yeah, how big is a berm? Oh,
So, because that's like 8 feet. You brought in a lot of material.
it's something, I'm not putting nothing there.
You already brought it in, because the trees that were along the side of the road, they're halfway buried under dirt. You could see it from the road.
Just clean it up, I'm not putting anything in this area.
Right, but that's now a hill. This is no longer flat.
Yeah,
So how high is that fence gonna be sticking up?
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
So that's that's gonna all pull into this equation on how far you could see down. Because if that fence is sticking, 8 feet up in the air, and you're putting it, and even if you're putting a 4-foot fence on top of it, you're asking for a 6-foot fence. What is that height?
It's a lot, that's definitely a lot.
It's gonna be a lot. So, and that's an unknown that we don't know. And so we would need to know that unknown for your sight distance,
Alright.
because we gotta make sure it doesn't block your sight distance. So, I would suggest moving it back, staying out of the town right away, changing that column just to a mailbox. And I do know the ground, Bobby said he tried jackhammering over there. I do know it's it's bluestone. And that's why the drainage ditches aren't deep over there, because they couldn't even jackhammer through it. I think does anyone else have any?
We've been down before, and that question with the berm, we went through before, because you've changed the elevation. And you can't, if there's anybody here, if they want a 10-foot fence, they could put up a 6-foot berm and then put a 4-foot fence and end up with 10 feet and say, I got the 4-foot fence. So that, what Chris was talking about is the regular elevation that it was before we put the berm on. So that has to be considered part of the height.
Well, I'm sure you got this paper, right, from the code enforcement office?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, basically it kind of states there what you can and can't do.
Alright, so,
I mean, that's the questions I have, Bob, do you have any questions? Anyone else have any questions for this gentleman?
Did they pull the permit for this? There was a permit pulled for this, right? Or no?
I think he applied for it. I think it was denied.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was denied because of his location of the fence, and he wants a 6-foot versus.
Check number $400.
Yeah, that on the front, was that to the zoning board?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was for the variance, not for the permit.
Okay.
So, they wanna wait to see what we do before they issue a permit for some reason, but that's their stance now. That's why they put on the notice of determination, if they would have applied for a permit, they would be denied. So that's their denial without officially taking their money. But in order to come to us, they gotta pay the fee.
And the zoning enforcement officer that Judy was referring to, he talks about the retaining walls and combinations, with this, it's gonna be over 10 feet high or in that area.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I was just mentioning about the berm, so it's already raising the elevation up, and you took the 4 feet on, you're asking for 6 feet on top of that, so that's.
Yeah, and it's not even the berm, it's just, no, it goes all the way to the house. So he came up and then it went to the house with the fill. Originally, it was flat.
Okay.
So those are, in order to proceed, those are questions that, we're gonna need answers to. I don't know if you wanna go back and redo your design, and talk to your surveyor. But we're also gonna need to know because there is a big height difference now between the road and your house,
The thing is, I don't want to put fence too high. The thing is, I put my patio in the back, it's close to the street. So the more important is right here. So I don't want too much, when the all cars coming, and then see very easy, because my patio is in the back. That's why you got to put fence. So, what about the 4 feet?
Well, 4 foot, you wouldn't need a variance from us, but you would have to work that out with
4 feet.
with the building department.
Oh, okay.
Because
And
it's
this
still
piece here-
going in, it's going into the highway right away. That, if you went with a 4-foot fence, then the issue is the fence is going into the
Get
road
turned.
right away.
Okay.
Yeah, it just can't go
And
into,
that's not on us, that's on a different department.
Okay.
Well, if you bend the fence over to get away from that, go this way a little bit, because you're only in it a couple of feet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bring it back.
yeah,
This way, you'll be okay.
yeah.
yeah, that would be working out with the building department. So you're here because you want to do a 6-foot fence. So, and in the front, you only allow the 4-foot fence.
What happens if you put the trees?
For what?
Tree.
Well,
Is,
well,
you put the trees?
as long as they're not in the town right away, because if they're in the town right away, the highway department could come and cut them right down if you're blocking your ingress and egress.
Yeah.
So you just can't block your ingress and egress,
Yeah.
with your sight distance. So, and where you have that fence now, where you're proposing to put it, is gonna block, you're not gonna be able to see anything coming the other way.
Or if you turn it back, just like the fence, move back just enough, so they can have clear view.
Okay. The problem is just
Now,
right here.
yeah, and I know you're saying your patio's up here,
Yeah.
because you got the house, it goes level and then goes straight down.
Yeah.
And from that point to go straight down to the town right away is a distance. I mean, if you're just worried about people looking into your patio, why don't you just move the fence and just keep it on the top of the hill?
With the 6 feet, six.
No, I would leave 4 foot,
Oh, 4,
And you got
okay.
the elevation add.
Yeah.
Yeah. because you already added like 8 feet of fill there. So,
I don't know, yeah.
And that might be your cheapest bet, without doing a topo for us, and just stay with 4 foot. And now you're just working with the building department to find out where's the best spot you could put it,
Okay.
okay? Versus
Out by the road.
out by the road. And it's up on the top of the hill, so the only thing you probably, address, and you could talk with the building department, with Bobby,
Okay.
about your mailbox. I know you do have a column there. He does know that that's solid stone. He already told me that. So he might allow you to keep that column, but you'd have to work that out with him.
Okay.
Because he told me he tried with the jackhammer. So with the machine, and he couldn't get into the ground, so, you know, it'd be hard to get a pole into the ground, you know, but, that would be that would be, if he gives you approval, do it.
Okay.
And now you're avoiding the zoning board, so you're only in front of us because you want to go 6 foot.
Yep.
So, which is not allowed, 4 foot's allowed. Now you just gotta work with the building department to see where you want to put it. And like I said, because I went out there, also obviously, and where you have a flat and just before you come down, I know it's up in the air, but that's gonna block
And,
any view because you're so high up.
yeah,
And then you don't have to, worry about the rest of this agenda, going forward.
okay. So, now, I have one question.
Yeah.
So after here, in the corner, that's my line, property line.
Mhm.
So right here, you can put the fence 6 feet. In the
So-
back.
2 feet off the line.
Yeah,
2 feet on the-
yeah,
okay.
there's a certain, you could check with the building department on that, and
Okay.
then,
We can go 6 feet on the sideline.
and then 6 feet on the side.
Okay.
So,
But that's probably what it's, there's not a scale on here, but you got the blue line, which is your property line, and then the red fence.
right,
Red fence line, so that's probably the 2 foot.
As long as you're 2 feet
Offset.
off your property line, you can go 6 feet.
In the back.
that's the side, so, it's just the front that.
So now I have to call Bob and then you start making sure.
Well, Bob would be for the column, for the mailbox, okay? Like I said, he knows it's solid stone there. So he might allow you to have the mailbox, I know you already did it. And then, the front fence, I would go 4 foot, because you already added all that fill and put it up top.
Okay.
If you're looking to, block, no one's gonna,
The line of sight will be.
yeah, you're almost 8 feet up.
I
You know, and then-
I think more.
Yeah, and then you put the fence up there, so someone's looking up at you,
Yeah, yeah.
13, 14.
Definitely it's too high in the corner and my patio back. So
Yeah.
I put just in the front, that's as low, that's the thing. That's my fault, man, I need to put my patio, in the back house, I think I have to change it. The problem was for my patio. Yeah, Now I have to change it, put my patio in the back. That's it.
But, yeah, that's your easiest bet. Unless you wanna go forward with what you have here, but like I said, we're gonna need a topo, and it's gonna be a lot more involved to go this way versus working with the building department on a 4-foot fence.
Okay.
And I think with the patio too, the way you have it, it's not technically like this, it's the front yard really, it's not really even the side yard. Like, this is all considered the front yard, so it's,
Yeah.
you have to go by what the, allowing the 4 foot in the front, so just kind of what this was pointing out.
All right,
All right,
that's it.
that's it. We're,
Thank you.
go see, Bill and, talk to him and tell him you wanna switch it to a 4-foot fence.
And I guess we'll need another new sketch, I suppose.
If you need zoning, you may not need.
Yeah, he won't need
Oh,
zoning.
okay,
No,
then?
he's gonna withdraw
Okay,
from the
okay.
6 foot, and he's gonna change it to 4 and work with you on that part.
If trees
Okay, then it's.
lower, that's it.
That nature does what nature does. Trees will do it.
That the tree is more, it's not easy for me because all this property is only rock.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's why I don't want to put the trees, because the fence, I had to make it all 8 feet, and put concrete, that's it. It's more easy. If you put a tree, I have to put it, everything is only rock.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Thank you so much.
All right, Eddie.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you, have a good
Thank
night.
you. You too.
I was reading the minutes there, Chris, and you were mentioning before, and I agree, that we're getting a lot of fence issues lately. And I've looked in other towns around us, and the fence laws vary by location. they pick like high traffic locations, they allow the people to go higher. You know, I wonder if our town should readdress the fence issues we have, because if you're on 40-foot 55 or 32, you may have a noise issue and maybe circumvent some of these.
We could send a memo to the town board and see if that's something, you know, if they're planning on looking at zoning in the future, and bring that up.
Because when I was driving around, I see a lot of people with fences over 6 feet tall in this town. That some old, some new.
Yeah, but I know Bill supposedly going.
Now would be the time to do it, because they're looking at zoning laws too.
Well, that's why I said we're sending a memo to you guys, so, you can take a look at that.
But you guys change it, but I looked at Montgomery and Marlboro and Gardner, and they vary their things around a bit based on, I think, their past experience. People that have high traffic areas and want privacy, they've allowed them, you know, they have all kinds of rules, depending on what road you're on, how much of a setback you have to have and all that. So
Wow.
maybe we need to address, because we seem to get quite a few of them lately.
Seems like it.
I see the one up on Milton Turnpike, loaded up with dirt in front of it.
I thought I did.
And they're planting grass, they got grass seed down and stuff, so I don't think they got 2 feet worth of dirt there. I don't know if the building department's privy to it yet or not, it just happened this week.
They're privy to it.
Oh, the dirt? Oh, okay,
They know about it.
okay.
But anyway, town needs, I think we're getting a lot of them, and usually when we get a lot of variances for the same issue, that means our code should be looked at and fixed.
At least reevaluated.
Alright, next order of business, I know Joe and Helene went up to the association, and, Helene can't make it today, she had another engagement, and she wasn't too sure, she has a thing going on at the Renegades. So she will talk to us next meeting, and I don't know, Joe, if you wanted to talk this meeting, or you wanted next meeting?
I'll wait for Helene, so we get a consolidated one, but one thing I do wanna say is, I see from what they were telling us, we do follow a lot of the stuff that they recommended already. I mean, some of it doesn't have to do with us because they're cities and they're different type of setups, but a lot of the stuff they talked about, we're pretty much following the procedures of what they're doing. You know, we do a little massaging, we'll cover that with Helene, but for the most part, procedurally, we're changing stuff and kind of falling in line with what they recommended.
Definitely beneficial to go up there.
It is, because we may be facing some of these zoning issues or planning issues later on as our town expands and new people start coming in. Some of the items they covered are for a higher density population that we so far don't have. When they talk about the water issues, again, we don't have town water and sewage for different densities. They talked about some initiatives by the state to try to get reuse, like brownfield type stuff.
Okay.
But again, we're not in that category, but we may end up with some of these. Yeah, so we may end up in some of them. They talked about our neighborhood here as far as like being underserved categories, because our town, I believe, is designated as an underserved area. So there's different rules for certain progress that we want to make. So the state gives some guidelines on what they want you to do, encourage different type of housing and stuff like that.
Okay.
Now, that's just state initiatives. I don't see us too much in that category at the moment, but it's good to be aware of some of this stuff. But procedurally, as far as when we run the boards and do things, pretty much in line with what they were saying to do.
Okay, cool. What we'll do is, next meeting, we'll just, do a more in-depth
Yeah.
study with, with Joe and,
And Joe, if there's anything specific you want me to, like, I can jot a note down, like, on the agenda
Okay.
or anything, but I can just put the same thing, training review.
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, thank you for going up there.
Thank you.
And, all right, our next order of business is the minutes. Not too much from last meeting.
I didn't pick up anything, so unless somebody else has something, I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, I got a motion to approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
Yes, I'll second that for the April 9th minutes.
Okay, Judy second. All right, on the vote, all in favor of accepting the minutes? All right,
Aye.
Aye.
all opposed? No opposed. I got a motion to adjourn?
Question,
Yes.
there was a email out on an update on, Roberts.
Yes. So I've been I sent Hoyt a message before I left. The information he's looking for is there, but I'm gonna write it all out for him.
Okay.
So I was gonna try to get it to him today, but I was by myself at my store, so I didn't get a chance to. But I'll get that to him and, I'll CC everyone on it. As of right now, Roberts, did turn in some stuff. My question, to the attorney is what they turned in my opinion, doesn't meet the criteria. And, I've never done a use variance, so that's why I've been consulting with him on that. And we're having in, for the use variance. Right now, we're in agreement on a lot of stuff. So he just had some other questions, and I think you saw that in his notes, you know. We did send him a topo showing that it's two separate structures, but I'll write it out for him that it's two separate structures. They do live, she does live in the one house. He did have some questions, which I don't have the answers to, because the garage was built in 1995. Zoning was already in place, and he put that it was pre-existing. And he was trying to ask me, how is it pre-existing if it was built in 1995? I don't know if we could change the notice of determination because the 90 days is over. But that was gonna be a question to Bill. I don't know between 95 and now if it changed, from what it used to be, and that's why he put its pre-exist,
Well, there's also something mentioned about the deed.
The deed, that was changed, so, you could change anything in the deed, but it doesn't mean it's
Yeah, but it
legal.
seemed like they
Yeah.
wanted you to see it there.
Yeah, I saw the change in the deed. So it's all in the paperwork, but I'll write a summary for
This thing
him.
was built in 95, did they receive a CO and did they go through approval for the building prior to that?
Well, that was the thing with because if you look at the deed, it said built in 95. But if you read the notice of determination, it says it's pre-existing. So that was the question, how could it be pre-existing if it was in 95? But like I said, those 90 days are already over for, to challenge the notice of determination. So he had to have some reason, I'm assuming, to put that, it was pre-existing, which would grandfather the one in, but the code specifically says, A, meaning one. So, in that zone, he could turn it into a multifamily if they were maybe close, but you got 50 feet apart from each other, so, because the only other thing would be a multifamily.
That's what Hoyt's gonna clarify for us, right?
Yeah, so he's gonna go through all that.
All right. Good, thank you.
Any other questions on,
I'll make a motion to adjourn then.
okay, I need a second.
I'll second.
Joe seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, guys.